Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Monday. Joseph Robert, the Fantasy Football Council. We're talking about the studs and sucks for Fantasy Football Week 13. I know we've got a Monday night game tonight. I understand that Buffalo's playing New England. We got to recap the games here. We got to talk about Week 13 and guys like Javonte Williams going off, Adam Thielen busting, going to rip into these guys. And we're going to be talking about some fantasy football playoff talk, how you guys are doing. Want to hear your stories, want to hear your records in the comments below if you're watching here on YouTube. Recap show for NFL Week 13, NFL Week 13 highlights, everything right here on this show. Before we get into this, guys, the show is brought to you by Pristine Auction. Head on over there for a chance to win. Look at this, guys. We've got a ton of giveaways for the month of December, including this Najee Harris signed speed helmet. Beautiful. And the Steelers won yesterday. Beautiful win. Deontay Johnson saving my fantasy football playoffs with 2 touchdowns. Could have been 3 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns, Deontay Johnson. But again, to win this beautiful signed speed helmet, it's gorgeous. Najee Harris. Like, look at this thing. And it's got that nice white matte finish. Beautiful, guys. PristineAuction.com. Go use promo code. I'm going to hang this up here behind me. Swag Lion at PristineAuction.com. Once you sign up, guys, you're entered for all of these draws moving forward. That's PristineAuction.com. Code Swag Lion. Go do that right now. If you're not new to the channel, make sure you guys click that subscribe button and head on over to Manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. Save yourself 20%. Christmas is around the corner. Get yourself a trimmer, ball wipes, shower, anything for the shower. You know, shampoo, body wash, grooming supplies below. Manscaped.com, SHOWERLION. All right, let's rip into this. Let's talk, man. I'm telling you, it was a good Week 13 for me. I had a little bit of a rough situation there with James Robinson. Urban Meyer pulled him out after he fumbled. Again, giving you a highlight on my situation. James Robinson got pulled out, put in the doghouse. Carlos Hyde came in, hoarded that touchdown. I mean, I was absolutely livid because I had Elijah Moore and Josh Jacobs on the bench. In their place, I had James Robinson, Adam Thielen. I started over. Now, again, hindsight is 2020, right? Like, it seems like you should have started Josh Jacobs and Elijah Moore. You definitely win the week. I didn't. I went with James Robinson, Adam Thielen. They've both been relatively consistent throughout the year. I felt safer with them. Sure enough, that proves, it's not always who the safest guy is either. And, starts and sits can make or break your team. But Gronkowski carried me. Herbert carried me. Najee Harris had a decent game. Deontay Johnson carried me. So I had other players really carry my team. So I'm up 147 to 113. I've got New England's kicker, and they've Folk, and they've got, who do they got? Diggs and Allen. So I'm up about 40 points. It's going to be a tight one for the one league. The other league, I actually absolutely destroyed it. I was playing a team that was like 2 and whatever the record was, but I'm going to make the playoffs in the other experts league. So good week overall for me. Let me know in the comments how you guys are doing. Love to hear how you guys are doing. Again, very disappointed with Adam Thielen, his 1 point. He's a suck of the week at wide receiver, and I don't care about his ankle. I don't care about the injury. I care about fantasy points of production. And if you put up 1 point for my team, you are dead to me. Like, I don't want to talk about you. I'm so pissed off right now. So again, let's go over the quarterback here, the suck of the week at quarterback, the studs of the week, and also each and every position as well. So again, that's kind of my highlights around kind of my situation. But again, Deontay Johnson. And then I found out Deontay Johnson's actually blocking me on Instagram. I didn't know he was blocking me. I guess it was from a previous post where I had posted something saying he was, it was something about his lack of performance in a game or something like that, or something about his injury before. And I said, man, you got to pick it up or something. Anyway, he blocked me. I just figured that out yesterday. It is what it is. I'm posting love about him because all I care about is fantasy. If you're producing for fantasy, I really don't care what you think about me, okay? So quarterback, Kyler Murray tore it up, 30 points. Tom Brady, good matchup there. He had a good matchup, did really well. 28 points. Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford, Zach Wilson, believe it or not. Again, this is why I kind of sat Elijah Moore, because I didn't know if Zach Wilson was going to pull it out, and he did. He got 2 touchdowns, Elijah Moore being a beneficiary. Taysom Hill sucks as a reality quarterback, ended up doing really well, 20 points. Not exciting, but did really well. Safe points this week. Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Big Ben, and Gardner Minshew all having good games. Jalen Hurts still set to be the starter, even though Minshew pulls out the win here. I mean, he played the Jets. I wasn't expecting anything massive out of the Jets to stop Minshew. So Hurts is still going to be the quarterback, even though Gardner won a game, an easy one versus the Jets. Guys that crapped the bed, Matt Ryan, only 12 points, unacceptable. Carson Wentz, 11 points. Tyrod Taylor, 1.3 points. And Dak Prescott, 11.22. Trevor Lawrence, 6.8. I would say Dak Prescott's the suck of the week, under 12 points, being a guy that everybody probably ended up starting, right? Especially now a lot of people are getting into fantasy football playoffs. Unacceptable. Pat Mahomes, 12.56 points. Really unacceptable as well, throwing an interception and 0 touchdowns in the Sunday Nighter. Pat Mahomes, again, just they won, but it wasn't won in style and confidence, okay? Denver's got a pretty good defense, and the Chiefs figured him out. So I'm going to say the suck of the week is Dak Prescott, followed by Pat Mahomes. Again, we expect more out of these guys. It didn't really happen. Now, running backs, Javonte Williams. And I was talking about this in my 16-round draft solution. I said stash him because Melvin Gordon is not the solution. Years 12, so we're not wowed. Javonte Williams finally got the opportunity to go, and he did go. 23 attempts, 102 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, a receiving touchdown, 6 receptions, and 29.8 points. And this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of good players in the NFL that are behind guys that shouldn't be starting, including Melvin Gordon. So Javonte Williams finally got the start, finally got volume, and proved he is better than Melvin Gordon. I don't know how to tell you this, but Melvin Gordon shouldn't be on that roster, and it's killing Javonte Williams' value. Javonte Williams should be a workhorse, should be a starter, should be a top 5 running back, but Melvin Gordon is a pest and is screwing that value. So again, I like Javonte Williams. I hope that Melvin Gordon doesn't come back, and I think Javonte Williams should be getting all of the work moving forward, okay? David Montgomery having himself a good game, and I watched that game, parts of it anyway, not the whole game, but he was running hard, he was running strong. He did the best he could. They lost. They were playing Arizona, but 21 attempts, 4.3 yards per carry, and a touchdown. Again, he's one player. He's not going to be able to solve all of Chicago's problems, but David Montgomery looked really good, and he did well in fantasy. Jonathan Taylor, consistent as usual. Josh Jacobs, and it's a thorn in my side. I hope I pull out the win here because I bet Josh Jacobs in the one league, and he goes off 24 points. Leonard Fournette, staying consistent. I played against him in that particular league, so I was hoping he didn't have a good game. Obviously staying consistent and becoming the primary running back there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Antonio Gibson finally has a safe game, and Sony Michel has a good game as well. I guess, he got the volume. Henderson didn't get the volume that we thought he would get. Alexander Madison, Devontae Freeman, and Kenneth Gainwell to round out the top 10. Again, some weird names in there. Kenneth Gainwell, Devontae Freeman, not guys that should be getting, that much volume. Did really well and got themselves a touchdown, which really inflated their value. And again, the guys that crap the bed here, I got to talk about it. And a big one is my guy, James Robinson. And we talked about it is because he dropped the ball one time or fumbled it, and then he was in the doghouse. So that's absolutely ludicrous that they did that to him. I can't control what goes on in the field. All I can control is who I can start. But it really pissed me off considering I was expecting more out of James Robinson, who only got me 2.5 points in PPR, which is absolutely ridiculous. Very, very sad. I'm trying to see if there's any other busts. And in the comments, guys, leave some of the busts that you had on your team that underperformed and you wanted them to perform. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody else that kind of pops out to me. Now, Austin Eckler did fumble twice, but redeemed himself with a touchdown, putting up what he put up, like 17 points, something like that. I'm trying to find it here. So Austin Eckler did actually redeem himself. But again, did he do well overall? Like, I like to have 20 points overall out of my running back. Not really. But again, Najee Harris had 15.7 compared to Austin Eckler 17.4. So who am I to talk, right? But Austin Eckler fumbled twice, redeemed himself with a touchdown. Didn't look good that game at all. Adrian Peterson, I think some people thought he was going to be good. 7.8 points. No matter where he goes, he's washed up, guys. Washed up. He's not that good. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody else here that's worth mentioning. Again, I would say James Robinson is the bust of the week. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 11.2 points. Saquon Barkley crapped the bed with 13.4. Very average, very boring, nothing exciting. Jamal Williams, 9 points. So Zeke Elliott, 6.7. I'm going to say Zeke Elliott is a sucker. This is a guy who's drafted in the first round across the board. Top 6-7 pick across the board and only coming up with 6-7 points. Unacceptable. So I'm going to give it to Zeke Elliott here as the bust of the week. And again, I like to review, I like to look, I like to analyze, but very, very disappointing performance from a couple of those running backs, including James Robinson, which is my guy, and Zeke Elliott, okay? Justin Jefferson going to wide receiver here. Justin Jefferson, Deontay Johnson tearing it up over 30 points apiece. Chris Godwin, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a guy I told you to stash, finally showing some sign of life. Keenan Allen, Russell Gage, Elijah Moore, Deontay Harris. So I want to make a note here that two of my sleepers in 60 rounds, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Elijah Moore, both in the top 10 when people need them the most as we're in fantasy playoffs or getting into fantasy playoffs. Again, finally starting to get their groove, finally starting to get the volume. The talent was always there, but the volume wasn't. Amon-Ra finally got 12 targets. Elijah Moore also 12 targets, and this really helped them. They finally started producing, finally started to do well, both getting a touchdown and doing well in fantasy. It's just about volume and getting that opportunity. The talent is there because there's no other wide receivers in that committee. Feed these guys. And I was telling you from the beginning, I should have been coached. Feed these guys because they're good, and people slept on it and didn't feed them early enough, okay? Now they're starting to get going. Hunter Renfrow was good to me. He was in one of my leagues, 19.2 points. Pittman had a safe game. Let's talk about some busts here at wide receiver. But again, with wide receiver, there's so much volatility, including Adam Thielen getting hurt. You can't help it. You can't predict this stuff. He's been pretty consistent all year. Touchdown machine. I start him when I need him, and he puts up 1 point. So I'm going to say the suck of the week is Adam Thielen. I don't care if he got hurt, right? Hopkins got a touchdown, but only 11.2 points. Big time bust. Odell 10.8. I think he got a touchdown. Bust again. Jamar Chase 10.2 points. That's a bust. 10 points for a guy that has been relatively consistent all season. So not good. Tyreek Hill 4.2 points. Absolutely sucked. Devontae Smith, 3.5. These are wide receiver ones we're talking about on their team, respectively. Wide receiver ones. Terry McLaurin, 5.2. So McLaurin, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Cortland Sutton, 3.5. Am I missing anybody? Guys, comment below if I'm missing anybody. But these are big names. Big names. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else here. Adam Thielen, 1 point. Big names, and they're putting up 5-6 points. Again, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase not doing too well. Adam Thielen busting, okay? Very disappointing. And this is what I'm saying. You can wait on wide receiver because who would have thunk it? Like, who would have thought about it that Elijah Moore and Amon-Ra St. Brown could beat Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins in fantasy points? Who would have thought it? And the thing is, here we are in week 13, where again, people are in fantasy playoffs and some of them are getting into it, where you need that win. These are your wide receiver ones and didn't do well. So again, it's all about adding depth, getting that volume, finding those sleepers, finding those league winners mid to late rounds in your draft. And this is exactly a perfect example of it, okay? So let's move on to the tight end position here. Kittle finally having himself a big game, 39 points. But again, took him like how many weeks to have that game? Very disappointing. Rob Gronkowski, very consistent when he's on the field. Goddard having himself a big game. Hawkinson, Logan Thomas, but I believe he got hurt. There's so many people that had decent games here at tight end. Mike Gesicki, but the guy that crapped it as per usual is Kyle Pitts. He's a big bust this year, and again, I don't know what to say. Travis Kelce, 5.7 points. Kelce is the suck of the week. 5.7 points, a guy people drafted in the second round. Very, very disappointing. So again, to recap NFL Week 13 from a fantasy perspective, we see it with wide receivers, right? They busted. We see it with running backs. They get hurt. You got to have running back depth. Javonte Williams stepping it up, right? So again, it's about drafting depth, and Week 13 is a perfect example of your starters not performing, right? Pat Mahomes, what did he do this week, right? Who else beat Pat Mahomes? There was a steal. I'm trying to see here. Justin Herbert I got after Pat Mahomes did better than him. Tom Brady was a value in drafts, and they finished second and third this week. Pat Mahomes finishing 17th, who was the first quarterback off the board in drafts, okay? So you can get that value. You can get that value later. You don't have to blow it early, okay? So those are the sucks of the week. Those are the studs of the week. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We go year-round. Fantasy football is not over just because your fantasy championships are over. Your leagues are over. And again, if you got 60 rounds, you're most likely in the fantasy football playoffs and championships this year. So make sure you guys do follow, and we're going to start rolling out 2022 content very soon. So subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you are new to the channel. I appreciate you guys, and Week 13 is behind us. Let's move forward, guys, into Week 14. We'll talk soon, guys. I'm out.